Patricia always hated the last stop on the bus line, not because it was far, though it was, but because of the way the air smelled when the doors sighed open. It was part diesel, part fertilizer, part something older that had sunk into the dirt decades ago, the kind of air that made you wonder what the ground had seen. Katie was waiting for her on the porch of the old farmhouse, waving in a way that made her look like she was either very happy or very cold. Patricia tugged her duffel up onto her shoulder and managed a smile, though her legs felt shaky from the ride. "Trish!" Katie bounded down the steps, nearly slipping on the last one, and caught her in a hug. Katie always hugged like she was trying to fuse bones. "You live out in the middle of nowhere," Patricia said when she caught her breath. "Not the middle," Katie said, pulling back with a grin that showed the small chip in her front tooth. "More like the friendly edge of nowhere." Behind her, the house rose in 2 stories of paint that had once been white and now looked like cigarette smoke. The porch sagged a little in the middle, and a swing creaked on one chain. It was the kind of house you'd expect to see in an old photograph, maybe with children barefoot in the dirt, or, if Patricia let her imagination go too far, with one of them already missing. Inside, the air was warmer. A hallway ran straight back, the kind where you could see all the way to the back door, but the walls were crowded with photographs and quilted hangings. It smelled faintly of onions. Renee, Katie's mother, popped her head around the corner first. "There's the famous Trish," she said, wiping her hands on a dish towel. She had a wide, soft smile and the kind of arms that looked like they'd been holding casseroles for decades. Don came next, taller, shoulders stooped in a way that suggested he was used to ducking under door frames. His smile was polite, but it didn't reach his eyes, which were small and restless. They seemed to scan Patricia like she was an interesting bird that had landed unexpectedly in his field. "You're the city friend," he said. "We don't get many of those out here." "Just visiting," Patricia said. "That's what they all say," Don murmured, almost to himself, before Renee nudged him in the ribs. Katie's younger sister appeared at the top of the stairs, hair in a messy braid, staring down with a curiosity that was sharp as a tack. She didn't smile, but she didn't look away either. Dinner was easy, filled with chatter about college, the kind of small-town gossip that comes pre-chewed, and a casserole that could have fed a lumber camp. Patricia laughed at the right times, felt the warmth, but her eyes kept catching Don's. He wasn't glaring. He wasn't exactly anything, just watching in a way that made her skin feel too tight. After dishes, Renee clapped her hands together. "Game night," she said, as if it were a holiday. Don grinned for the first time. Risk. Patricia had only played Risk once in her life, and it had ended in a near fist fight between her brothers. Still, she sat at the kitchen table while Don unfolded the board like a priest unrolling scripture. Katie sat next to her, bouncing her knee. The game went on. Don explained rules as if they were laws, sacred and absolute, and Patricia nodded even though she wasn't really following. Her phone buzzed in her lap. She glanced down. Her sister. "Just a check-in, nothing serious." She typed back a quick response. Katie's smile twitched at the corners. She tried to hide it, but Patricia noticed. The phone buzzed again. Another text. "Everything okay?" Katie asked, sweet but with an edge that cut. "Yeah, just my sister." Patricia slipped the phone into her pocket. The dice clattered. Don was grinning at the board like a man who had already planned 3 moves ahead, the kind of grin that suggested he enjoyed other people's losses more than his own wins. By the third buzz, Katie's leg wasn't bouncing. It was rigid. She leaned over, placed her hand lightly but firmly on Patricia's wrist. "Can I talk to you for a second?" Patricia blinked, then nodded. Katie tugged her into the hallway, out of sight of the others. Her voice was low but sharp. "I thought you came here to hang out with me." Patricia frowned. "I am. It was just my sister asking what I'm doing, that's all." Katie looked at her for a long moment, as if weighing the truth in her tone. Finally, she exhaled. "Okay, forget it. Let's finish the game." Back at the table, Don had conquered Asia, and Renee was laughing too loud at his glee. Patricia tried to focus on the board, but her stomach was tight. Later, when the game was done and everyone was yawning, Patricia excused herself for a shower. The bathroom upstairs was small, the kind where the ceiling slanted, and the mirror was old enough to warp reflections. She let the water run hot. The steam curled, covering the glass. But when she pulled the curtain closed and stepped under the spray, she felt it, that prickle at the back of her neck. The shower head hissed, the house creaked, and still she couldn't shake the sensation of being watched. Her eyes flicked to the small hole in the bathroom door where a lock should have been. She swore she saw a shadow move past. She shut her eyes, told herself she was being ridiculous. When she opened them, the shadow was gone. After, she wrapped in a towel, dried quickly, and hurried to the guest room. She slid under the covers, heart still too fast. Weird night, she thought. Weird house. And before sleep claimed her, she had the sudden sharp thought, I'm not the only one awake in this house.